What did the popular kid at your school do to go from cool to an absolute outcast?
There was one newish kid who had just entered one of the cool kids groups when he was caught his sister, yes his sister, in a school cupboard. Well, he literally ran out of the school and home, completely naked, so everyone saw him running. He and his sister transferred after that, never came back in. The cool kid group that he hung out with, their rep really suffered. They had to split up and join other social groups.
Last year was my freshman year. So, there was this kid who was literally as dumb as a pile of rocks, but he was popular. He was also an so I don't know why people liked him. He was selling jewels and other vapes to the other underclassmen. Well, this dummy stored all of his stock in his locker, and when the school did their locker checks, vapes and jewels just come pouring out of this guy's locker. We were all kinda laughing. But, anyways, he got called to the office, and asked to explain what the fudge just happened. They offered to lighten his punishment, if he could tell them others who might have vapes. Needless to say, this kid ended up ratting on a good 55 kids, who all got suspended in the Great Vape Bust of 2019. At my school, no one bought from him again, and no one really talked to him after that, lol.
Blew his fingers off in the talent show. I don't know if you could call him an outcast since people still talked about him, negatively, but yeah. 3.5 fingers lowered him on the high school totem pole.
What was he doing? Juggling grenades?
Magic trick with small explosives for effect, but the consequences clearly outweighed the benefit.
Made his fingers disappear.
Wow. You're good.
He experienced a sudden bout of explosive diarrhea in the middle of changing for gym class. He ran out of the locker room in his soiled shorts, and smeared liquid over every floor and wall he came across as he ran home. I mean, you feel bad because it could happen to anyone, but he was a real asshole that bullied a bunch of younger kids. He was out for weeks, and transferred very soon after.
I've read enough of these to suspect that there is a steady stream of laxative-based revenge behind them.
His mom institutionalized him, literally sent him to a psych ward, because she found out he was smoking weed.
I actually got sent to a mental facility for teens, for 10 days, and when I came back I got more popular. Only because the super cool, and fairly hot druggy guy had also been sent to the same place previously, and he was like,
"Oh, man. You went to Smith Hall? No way, me too. This girl is a badass."
it gave me some cred, or something.
He started dating this nerdy girl, then he stopped hanging out with his friends, and started spending all his time with her little brother, and his middle school audio-visual club. Then he kept hanging out with the kids even after they broke up.
I was the popular kid going into senior year. Realized I loved art more than athletics, football, baseball. Dropped sports, and started painting. My parents were absolutely devastated, and my longtime friends became distant. Now I'm a junior in college with a cat, working to be an animator, and have Dungeons and Dragons on Sundays. Couldn't be happier in my life.
She was raped. It changed her completely. She went from confident, smiling, optimistic, and downright cute, that's what we said back then, cute, to dark, depressed, apathetic. Nobody knew what to do to help her. This was early 1970s. There was some awareness, but rapists regularly got away with it. Her rapist got off scot-free, and he attended the same school, so she had to face him daily. I knew who it was because I had, just barely, escaped the same fate. We're talking about 14 to 15-year-old girls, and we didn't have much support from adults in our community. It was the age of boys will be boys, and we were supposed to suck it up.
At my old high school, a guy that was pretty popular, lost all respect when he slapped his girlfriend in the face in the lunchroom, and knocked out her friend who had a baby arm, sorry I don't know the medical term, when she tried to get him away from her. He lost a lot that day, including a pint of blood when about 6 guys stomped him into the floor.
The f is a baby arm?
A case where dwarfism is isolated to one limb.
Holy what the f, really, dude, that must suck.
Told a classmate to kill yourself. And yeah, he did. He walked to the tracks in front of a train during lunch hour. The kid and his family ended up moving to a different state.
She
a lot of people. That's what made her popular. She a lot of people with herpes. That's what made her an outcast.
There was a couple. Typical rich kids. The girl's family owned several businesses around town, and the boy was the star of the school's football team, and was on track to be accepted into the AFL. One day, one of the kids with a learning disability refused to let the girl use his laptop during a free study period. She wanted to post an update on Facebook, and around for the period. He refused. During the lunch break, they both ambushed him right out in the open. He smashed the guy's laptop, and punched him in the side of the head. He fell hard on the concrete, you could hear a crack, as his skull hit the pavement. While she was watching it, and laughing her ass off. The poor guy had to be taken to the hospital, and afterwards had to be homeschooled because of how badly this experience traumatized him. The popular couple weren't popular anymore. After a few weeks, their inner circle stopped talking to them because they had become so damn toxic. He lost his offer from the AFL, her parents never let her face any consequences. That was about 12 years ago now. Before writing this, I checked their Facebooks. She is a single unemployed mother of 3, her brother, who was always a quiet kid who never really bothered anyone, barely anyone knew he was her brother till the last year of school, is now running their parents' businesses, and has cut her off for, from what I can gather, wasting almost $1 million on a 2-week holiday to the Caribbean, and assaulting her mother when they told her to get a job, or actually do the job they had given her. The guy came out better. After school, he fell into a deep depression, engaged in a lot of self-reflection, and now works as a tour guide in the Northern Territory. During a stint volunteering at a local center for the mentally challenged, I met the guy he knocked out after refusing to give the girl his laptop. He's largely gotten over the trauma, and now has a girlfriend, and a job at the local McDonald's.
Date raped a girl, or maybe she was just super passed out drunk raped, I don't remember exactly, with another douchebag, and then spread pics of her around on the old Razor cell phones. This was back in 06-ish. She hung herself within 48 hours, and was dead. 9th grade. He ended up having to move to some school in another county because everyone knew what happened, and his ass was going to get a beat down on the regular. Really nice girl too. I used to sit by, and chat with her in study hall the year before in 8th grade.
He bought a gram of weed, unknown to him it was actually oregano, for $40, and proceeded to smoke it, and act like he was high throughout the day.
This girl was a grade under me, and for the life of me I could never understand why she was so popular, considering she was on that edge of bitchy but funny, but also mostly just rude. Well, she let all of the high school game go to her head when she accused a guy in my grade of rape at a party. The only issue was not only was this guy innocent, and was with people all night, he also had a girlfriend, as well as had been more popular than this girl, as he was literally the most popular guy in school. It was a huge deal. The police got involved. Phones were taken. They found text messages from her to friends stating she was trying to ruin his life because he didn't want to be her boyfriend. She moved away in the middle of the year, and admitted everything. She's doing well now, but everyone who remembers doesn't like her.
He sent a picture of his to like 20 girls, and then only got suspended for 3 days because he was literally the star of 3 sports teams, and had a beautiful baritone voice that landed him a spot in the concert choir, and a lead in the school musical. This guy was everything. But after the video, everyone hated him, because, you know, that's nasty. Also, only being suspended for 3 days is super unfair.
His mom had sex with the entire high school football team. They recorded, and tried to blackmail her. She wouldn't pay them. They sent the video to everyone. Him and his dad promptly moved.
Damn. I couldn't even imagine, your wife, and a bunch of boys.
Lol, of it makes it worse. Part of the video included them have her look directly at the camera, and say,
"I love black,"
which also means she knew she was being recorded, and didn't really care. The story is so insane that even in a movie it would seem outlandish. I'm not sure if the husband ever saw the video. It circulated widely at my school, but people started getting called to office, and even had a police officer present explaining they were sharing child porn. Some of the guys were under 18, and they could be charged. For a bit of backstory, and how it happened, the kid was also in the football team. He often threw parties. His mom was seen as cool because she allowed them to party, and would sometimes be drinking, and even played beer pong with them. One night I guess she was pretty wasted, and came onto one of the guys, and he called his friends in, and they basically just ran train on her. This was at the height of, I f your mom jokes, so people were ragging on this guy hard. A couple weeks later him, and his dad moved to a different state.
This one girl went to a party, and shit in the toilet upstairs. It clogged the toilet, and overflowed, and she insisted it wasn't her when it was clear she was the culprit. It caused some serious water damage. Not only did she go from popular to a complete asshole, her name went from Brittany to Shitney pretty quickly.
That's clever.
I didn't grow up in America, but I've never understood this popular kid crap. Doesn't everyone in a year just talk to each other, and then have a smaller group of closer friends? What's with all this cool kids stuff? Like, why are they cool? Why does anyone not in their immediate circle of friends give a shit what they think? I don't understand. I know it's off topic, but I'm trying to get context for stories.
They're the kids everyone wishes they were friends with. Or thinks they're not good enough to be in that friend group. No, everyone doesn't just talk to one another, either they think you're not good enough to talk to, or maybe they're rude as all get out to everyone but the cool kid group. Or they're the group always doing that thing you wish you were brave enough to do. No clue why we care what they think, maybe they're someone to look up to. I don't know.
I deservedly took a hit to my popularity in high school for starting a rumor about a girl's nipples. I hooked up with a girl in my grade, and told a friend she had pepperoni nipples. I know, what does that even mean? He told somebody else, and it became a huge rumor, and people started teasing her in the hallway. Obviously the other girls in my grade were none too pleased with me. She was a really smart, and sweet girl, and it wasn't my intention at all. She's since forgiven me, and we are friends to this day.
She was a really smart and sweet girl, and it wasn't my intention at all.
What did you think would happen when you told another person? Especially in high school.
I made the comment as an off-the-cuff remark, and moved on. I didn't even remember saying it when I first heard it around school. Wasn't thinking, I guess. Big time asshole move.
She moved here from Africa, and no one liked her at first. After she made friends with two other outcasts of the class, they devised a plan to get back at the popular kids. So she befriended all the popular kids, and when she did that, everyone started to love her. But then she tore them apart from the inside, fed one girl weight loss bars which really just made her fat, stole that girl's boyfriend, and spread rumors that one of the teachers sold drugs. And to top it all off, she pushed that girl in front of a bus.
That's a pretty mean girl there.
I think I went to that school. I kind of feel bad for her, because those other outcasts used her as a pawn in their revenge scheme, and she got in way too deep. And the girl she pulled that weight loss bars stunt was a massive who got caught calling other girls' parents, and pretending to be from Planned Parenthood. Girl I know was dragged screaming out of a friend's house because her mom thought she was a dirty little whore. She also threw around pamphlets of people's dirty secrets, like those Asian twins who were both the same teacher. Everyone was relieved when the plastic queen was killed by that bus. Okay, she didn't really die, but she did mellow out considerably. And the first girl didn't push her.
Fairly popular kid in the grade above me, was a varsity player on our basketball team when we won state, and all that, but he was a little slow, usually took classes in the year below him. He decided when in science class, when the classroom was dark because a video was playing, it would be a good idea to whip out his in front of a girl who he thought was very sexually active. He got registered as a sex offender, and served prohibition, but surprisingly didn't move schools, and he made the varsity team after a year suspension.
She did blackface, and posted it on her private Snap story. Someone exposed her, and she didn't come back the next day because she was getting threats. She got 10 days out of school suspension, and when she came back she basically had almost no friends, and tons of enemies.
High school quarterback at my Southern State High School. Popular, handsome, well-liked. The sociology teacher was beloved, and known for how kind, accepting, and funny he was. People that weren't even interested in sociology took his class just for him. One day the teacher was doing a lesson on religion/culture, and said something about Christianity. The aforementioned quarterback didn't agree with, so he reported the teacher, and got him suspended. The entire school jumped to defend the teacher, as well as to bully/slander the popular kid who got him suspended. Kids in the same class said the teacher didn't even say anything offensive, or a personal opinion, just talking about different religions, and people who don't follow a religion. I think the popular kid played in like the first football game following the incident, and got booed off the field, and didn't play again. The entire incident was so dramatic, the hashtag, #FreeTheTeacher, was trending on Twitter.
In middle school our quarterback had brain swelling, and got brain damage. There were donation events held for him, and his friends were very supportive, for about 2 weeks. Then his girlfriend broke it off with him, while he was in the hospital, and he pretty much disappeared. The guy was the coolest, an absolute prick, and had personally picked on me, but I don't think he deserved what happened to him. After taking a year off of school he comes back a completely different person. None of his old football, or cheerleader friends talked to him, or visited him anymore. He needed a sped teacher to accompany him in many classes, and got genuinely depressed, and angry in class because his brain wasn't what it used to be. One day he approached me, and said hi like we were old friends, knew my name, and everything. I was a little thrown off by this because he used to call me names, push me around to impress girls, and physically threaten me. The guy standing in front of me wasn't that guy anymore though, and I could tell. It turns out he couldn't remember me well, but had the feeling we were friends. I lied to him, and said of course we are. We chatted sometimes during school, and I genuinely enjoyed his company. Soon after his return however he just stopped coming to school, and I never heard what happened to him. I'm honestly afraid to look him up. I hope he's doing well.
Literally, eating bird shit out of a bird being used for dissection.
Oh gosh, that's the second dissection one I've seen in this thread, and somehow this one is worse than eating a pig's eyeball.
Why are there so many stories of teens eating animal excrement?
I have no clue.
Teens.
I find it hard to believe this person went from being popular to suddenly eating dead bird shit. There had to be some kind of gradient, or spiral, lol.
I heard someone paid/dared him to do it. I was sadly not present when it went down. He got held back a year as punishment.
You don't get held back a year as punishment. It's only for academics. Thanks for watching. Be sure to check out my other videos. Also, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe and ring the notification bell.